1968 was a year of turmoil in our country. Social unrest was most evident on college campuses. The leading edge of the baby boom generation were coming of age, and they were making their voices heard. But in the quiet confines of Lebanon Valley, things were quite different. Civic leaders were addressing the issues affecting their own community. Most importantly, the need for affordable housing for their aging population.
In 1968, I'd been practicing law in Lebanon for about 4 or 5 years. I was a young attorney. I was asked to attend a meeting of some community people that were interested in housing for the elderly and fulfilling a desperate need in Lebanon. I was happy to join the group, and I was totally impressed with all the civic leaders who were there and people from the various churches, and to hear their passion and that they were determined they were going to do something to correct this problem.
The initial obstacle was the fact that none of us knew what we were talking about. There was no senior housing or assisted housing of any kind in Lebanon County, and we had to educate ourselves as to just what this was that we were hoping to provide for our seniors. We then had to go forth and educate the zoners and the governmental entities that control how that housing would be built. And over the years, of course, funding has always been a problem.
17 community leaders got together, figured it out. They saw a need. And this is amazing to me because that was 1968. And do you know that the Pennsylvania Department of Aging was not even started until 1978, 10 years later? These community leaders were visionaries. They saw it, and they acted upon it, and they built what we have today.
It's now 50 years later, and from the efforts started by that group of 17 people, Community Homes of Lebanon Valley has grown. 6 senior terrace properties serve nearly 300 of our aging and disabled local citizens, and plans for further expansion are on the drawing board. That commitment and that accomplishment are well worth celebrating 50 years of community pride. Civic leaders and state and local government officials were on hand to offer their congratulations. There was even time to celebrate the quality of life that these communities have fostered. But the work is not yet done. Those same baby boomers, 70 million strong, who were young adults in 1968, began reaching retirement age in 2008. Another time of turmoil, this time a financial crisis. Many lost their retirement savings. So, the work of Community Homes of Lebanon Valley continues. Ongoing initiatives including additional independent community housing, respite care, and housing designed to meet the needs of disabled citizens of all ages.
So many people sit back, and if you ask them, I guess if we surveyed this room tonight, we would say, okay, how many people want to stay in their own homes as they get older? And I guarantee you 80-90% of the hands would go up. But what we don't understand sometimes is that as we age and we start losing certain abilities, we don't go out as much. Our friends start dropping off. They don't go out as much. And suddenly that house that they live in, where they think they want to stay, becomes the brick and mortar that ends up almost being a prison for them. Because what's missing? They don't have the community, they don't have the fellowship, they don't have people, they don't have the socialization. And that's what our residents have figured out. I'm sure all of our residents lived in their own homes, brought up their families, made their memories inside a particular house. Some of us, have lived in our houses for many years. Some people have moved around. But our residents figured it out. It is not the brick and mortar. It's the community.
It's that community that will continue to support our neighbors who need our help. And that list is growing. Safe, affordable housing for seniors has always been our focus. But as the state of our community changes, we must change as well. There's a considerable need to provide thoughtfully designed homes for our neighbors who live with disabilities. People of all ages, and families who need extra support to live in safe surroundings. Now, it's time we all join together to continue the work. Find out how you can help Community Homes of Lebanon Valley.